say what Carl Jr. said in the lobby, but that is kind of the thought with so talking about Mime's world records. This is one of the tracks that he has world record on. I think he is very comfortable in these dirt situations, as you see both Mime and Helcon wheel to wheel, absolutely leaving Carl Jr. and Pack in the dust right now, over a half-second lead on the both of them here to open round number 1, map number 18. Do we know what maps were banned?
I didn't quite catch that, unfortunately. I don't think I got into the lobby in time to see the ban. I know, I guess through process of elimination, we can figure that out, because I do have the map order itself, which I'll look at in a bit. Just as soon as the Into the Breach players are done absolutely destroying map 18, this third gear dirt tech map. Uncomfortable for many, but very much not for the duo of Mime and Elcon. That is an ace to get things started. 3 points into the pockets of the ITB players.
You can tell the Solary guys are having fun with it. Pack says good round in chat as well. You know, there again. I don't. You know, I hate to assume. That is one of the things I really don't like to do as a commentator. But I just don't. How much time has Solary put into these campaign maps? Right. I mean, it's a for fun event. You know, we're here to kick off the World Tour and to celebrate these players and what they're able to do and everything like that, and the awesome year we're getting ready to have. But I think both Carl Jr. and Pack are two players who are very much nose to the grindstone, and they're going to be focusing on the maps that really matter come 2023 with the new maps that have been released. So that said, they have the skill to give anybody a run for their money on just about any map. So we'll see what they can do. Right now, it looks like they are going to suffer a second ace as Pack, over 7 seconds behind. He is bumbling his way to the finish. He will cross the line. But ultimately, it is a 6-0 win here for Into the Breach. And, yeah, looking to dominate this first map.
A crucial thing to note here is that the Into the Breach players are the only one using that no slide strat, where below a certain speed, I believe is 230, it's actually faster to make turns on dirt where you are not sliding the car, so you're full gripping all the way through it. So it's initially slower, but it actually gives you better acceleration through the corner. So you do lose time initially, but you make it up in droves because of the increased momentum. And all that to say is that Elcon and Mime are doing that consistently, and Carl Jr. and Pack are throwing themselves through the corner like I would argue most players would probably do, which gives them that temporary advantage, but then they lose it with that overall kind of momentum gain. God, look at that. Mime and Elcon just switching back and forth. Mime actually snipes it away from Elcon. Elcon just slamming off of that right side wall. That is a tricky ending, I will say. It does not give you a lot of room to finish. And it's going to happen, and here will be a great example of how the points work. Oh, you know what?
It doesn't matter. They
it's an ace anyway. Okay, so maybe not.
They ruined it. I think we are about to see our perfect sweep. Unless Carl Jr. can pull something out of the hat here. You can tell they're just, I mean, you see Mime and Elcon take a wider line, a no slide line through that first corner. It doesn't, it looks counterintuitive. It looks slower, but you get more exit speed. And right now, Carl Jr., he's got himself in a pretty good spot. Elcon is pretty close behind. I think Carl Jr. actually might overtake Mime here. Carl Jr. just solved this track randomly?
That would maybe, be insane. Or found, just found that extra gear that he needs. They were neck and neck for a moment there, Carl Jr. and Mime.
Oh, Elcon's so fast.
Oh, that was a tight line, but doesn't wind up gaining him enough speed. They will play for the draw here, and they will make that draw happen. That was a great run, a 54-9 from Mime.
He did it. He prevented the perfect sweep. We can't get one. We're cursed.
We can't buy a perfect sweep. I hope. I was just about to say maybe it happens tomorrow, but I desperately hope it doesn't happen tomorrow, because that's when the true competition is supposed to happen, because all the the chaff has been sorted through, and the best of the best have made it on through. So
I was gonna say, don't put that juju on us, man. Not for the playoffs.
Sorry, my bad.
All right, so this map, I think Carl Jr. and Pac have a considerably better chance on. This seems to fit their style a little bit more, in my opinion.
I think you're right. That's pretty much all I have to say.
Okay.
I think it's just going to wind up playing itself out, but actually, I agree.
And more to the point, too, Carl Jr. has the fastest time of all the pros here today. Fastest PB, anyway, on this track. So we'll see if he can light up a couple of rounds. He and Elcon are going to do battle. Carl Jr. goes wide. Elcon going to take the lead. Pac not too far behind, but he's got quite the distance to make up and not the track to do it. Elcon actually almost touched that wall, but he does come through with a 27-2 to kick things off. Was that a PB for Elcon? No, okay. He has a very high 27-1. So he almost PB'd, but he does win the round. Or, well, I mean, he draws the round. As Mime brought up the rear there, it's 1-1.
Yeah, fast regardless. Super tight drift in here. Sue gets the best exit. Want to keep the tires on the ground. Release, time that with getting as close to that outside wall as possible. Wow, Mime barely lifting up off of the ground. And, ooh, the pace. Wow, Elcon and Mime literally neck and neck.
They tied.
1.14 behind Carl Jr. exactly. And that will result in a draw, anticlimactically. It is still 2-2 between these two teams, but this is, I think, a match that, even if it's going to be a draw every round, it's going to go fast, purely based on the fact that these are 27-second runs.
Honestly, I'm mesmerized by Carl Jr., how deep he goes into this corner. Look at how deep he goes. It's insane. He releases so late, and he has so much space, so much speed. Another draw, as Pac, unfortunately, made that mistake earlier on. This time, Mime came pretty close, less than 200ths away. But it's insane the kind of car control Carl Jr. has in that corner. Like, you'll see Elcon, you'll see Mime release just a little bit early, and Carl Jr.'s full gas. I mean, he is just heavy into that corner. I'm going to watch him again as we come up to this corner, and it's not an easy corner too, because you got that little chicane, and this time though it looks like Mime going to get the better of him, especially down through that downhill. Elcon will snipe him as well, and that's a huge swing for him to the breach.
Brilliant speed as well. I think Carl Jr. I can't remember who it was. Somebody got just a fraction of airtime longer, and that resulted in the slight momentum increase for the Into the Breach players compared to Solary just kind of overall. And we saw the result with how tight of a map this is. It only takes that tiny amount of a difference to turn a relatively fair situation into an ace. Mime overtaking Carl Jr.
Fast.
P2, Elcon easy P3, Pac bringing up the rear in P4. That is 2 points to ITB, 8-4, and Solary find themselves on the back foot.
And 2 more points needed, 1 more of those rounds. And it is Into the Breach, up by 2. Heading into map number 3. As Elcon does get overtaken. This time, Pac has pretty good speed here as well, but it all comes down to this corner. And Elcon, he goes wide. That's going to give Pac enough time to pass. And Solary will find an ace in that round there. And now, all of a sudden, this becomes pretty close at the final. 1 more ace from Solary, and they'll snipe this one out of Into the Breach's hands.
You can't count them out, honestly, because it just happened there, and we hadn't seen one from them up until that point, but that's all it takes. Getting down as tight as possible. Elcon in the lead. Somebody touching
Carl
the inside. That was Carl, indeed. Nice set of releases there by Elcon, but nicer from Pack, and could bring themselves into contention. It will be a draw as far as the standings go there.
Clutch.
So 9-8, very, very close. It will take a Solary round victory here to send us into overtime.
That was clutch from Pack, though. As soon as Carl Jr. taps, he puts it into overdrive, knows he's got to win that race, and he had a spectacular chicane into the lift section there. As Elcon got to take a pretty big early lead for this track. He is getting caught by both Mime and Pack, but it's got to be Pack. He's going to overtake. Carl Jr.'s there as well. They're going to go for the ace, and they're going to take the map. Unbelievable. Solary just steal this one away. 11-9 final score, and we're tied at 1.
Literally waiting until the final corner. That is how you do that. Oh my God. What a final round. Solary finding the Jets when they needed to. They waited a little bit long to find it, but they did find them eventually. And now we go to the first black track in this series. It's going to be 21. So we find ourselves back on the plastic, and I am here for it.
You know what's really scary to me about this Solary team is both players, both Carl Jr. and Pack, are known for their insane clutch ability at the end of series, right? Like, just unbelievably good at driving under pressure. And that's exactly what they did. I mean, they by all accounts, I think most people in chat, you and I think we were about ready to give ITB map number 2 there. And Solary said no.
I was kind of assuming it was going to happen, and then you don't get much more clutch than what we just saw on what just happened there. Carl Jr. tapping the outside and Pack tapping the inside of something else. So ITB players both very much neck and neck here, but with a commanding lead of over a second and a half that will surely grow as the Solary players make their way through all of these additional checkpoints. And should be a relatively simple ace as long as both Elcon and Mime can keep their cool. Easy peasy, wrap it inside, no need to risk anything, and that will be 3 points to get this game, to get this map started here. ITB 3, Solary 0.
So, let me ask a question that I don't think a lot of people will necessarily care about, but I like it because it's a storyline. Okay. Pack and Carl Jr. have been, I wouldn't say bitter rivals. They seem very friendly with one another.
They're definitely buddies.
But they've been
like competitive rivals
for many, many, many years.
Yes.
I mean, you know, world championships, both of them, they are fighting most of the time 1 and 2. How does that translate to now, hey, we're teammates. We win together and we lose together. And again, I do think they're good friends. At least they seem to be, you know, every time you see them together.
Yeah.
But how, I mean, there's still that competitive edge. Do you think they're racing each other still? I mean, even if you're winning games, I mean, are you still looking for the bragging rights over your teammate? Like, hey, I had the most points in that series, you know. I just wonder what that dynamic is like.
I don't know. Like, if I had the ability, as we just casually see another ITB ace here, I think if I had the ability of either Carl Jr. or Pack, and I had spent as long as they have spent competing against each other, personally, I would be overjoyed to have the other as a teammate, because you have all of this evidence going back in history of how good one another happens to be at this game. So I think, honestly, I would be filled with a sigh of relief, because you no longer have to compete against them. You're using them, you know, to kind of bolster, I guess, you know, your org's performances, but by extension, your own performance as a member of that org. So if I was in their position, I would be absolutely loving my prospects for the coming season.
Two of the long-standing guard of Trackmania trying to fend off what looks to be the young Polish superstar in Mime as he leads Elcon, looking for a second, or rather a third ace. This time Carl Jr. makes it competitive, but still can't get there. That is 9-0 for Into the Reach. And to your point, maybe a bit of a counterpoint actually. If I and now this is the competitor in me, and I've played multiple esports at a very high level when I was younger and could actually do the thing. I think it would be nice to have your competitor, your long-standing rival, if you will, on your team, just so you can jab at him while you're playing. Call him washed if he loses a round or something. That's all I would do.
You would jeopardize potentially jeopardize the performance of your team just for a meme.
Years of victories and defeats don't get erased that easily. Just saying.
Okay, fair enough.
Wait, are we gonna hold on? This is important. Carl Jr. and Pac really close to Elcon. One of them needs to overtake. Do they have it? Oh, Elcon! He's got to finish.
Oh my God.
He did it, and it's against Solary. Of all the teams to concede the first perfect sweep, it is Solary. Mime and Elcon are fast.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Newsflash: Mime and Elcon know how to play this game. Let's see how they fare in slightly shorter maps, because it's 09 next. Our friendly 27-second box, not really tech map. I guess technically tech map, but there's not too many tricks involved. It's just like make all those tiny optimizations, and hopefully it all adds up to the fastest time possible. I like this because it's a short and sweet map, and you get to see those bite-sized moments of focus from all of the players, and you get to see how effective those can be.
Well, yeah, it's almost like what is it? Party size candy bars? Is that what they call it? Party size, the mini ones.
Yeah. Oh no, I think. Well, I don't know. If I go to the store and I get a party size bag, it's gonna be huge.
Yeah, I guess that's true. What are they called? Why am I blanking on this?
Bite size?
Maybe. I don't remember. The king size are the big ones, obviously, and then you have the regular ones. What are the mini ones called? Somebody in chat will tell me.
Whatever it is, Elcon and Mime deserve 2 of them for the opening ace here on map 09. It's map number 4 in our best of 7 here. ITB versus Solary. Pac and whatchamacallit? Pac and Carl Jr.
Oh my God.
I can't believe I forgot that name.
We're all over the place right now.
Fun size, somebody's saying in chat. Fun size. There you go.
That's it. Yeah, that I can't believe that. That really frustrated me there for a second. Elcon and Pac. Actually, Pac a little bit faster than Elcon. He's going to take the win. Carl Jr. and Mime to the line. It's Mime just by 2,000ths. And that will result in a draw. That's a victory Solary desperately wanted. And unfortunately, Carl Jr. just 2,000ths too slow.
4-1 for ITB.
What the heck happened? Did you see that from Carl Jr.?
Did I miss something?
I think the stream did. It looked like I don't know. It looked like he just hit the brakes, and then Mime, a huge mistake as well. He's going to be even farther back than Carl Jr. So now it's Elcon and Pac.
Look at that. That's super close as well. Super tight drift. Elcon's got a little bit more momentum. Wow, that was closer than it had any right to be. Carl Jr. will come in at P3 and, results in another draw. But excellent snipe from Elcon right there at the line.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to Carl Jr. at the beginning. I wish I could see it again. Hopefully he doesn't do it again here to start this round. He makes the jump just fine that time. Really bizarre. Anyway, all 4 players making the first few corners this time around. The Pac very tight now. Pac is going to watch from his 4th place position as Elcon and Mime both barely edging out Carl Jr. This corner going to be important. Elcon and Mime so speedy. will snipe that one, and that's a huge 3 points. It's 8-2 now. ITB looking to go up 3-1 in the series.
God, it feels like they're unstoppable. Like I'm struggling now to come up with a reason to believe that ITB won't take this, and I mean like in general, like go all the way to their fourth map and put it away, because I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of consistency from Solary. Yes, there's and the second I say that, they're about to ace this one, of course. But I don't think I'm totally off base in that across the entirety of this series so far, I feel like it has definitely been Solary on the back foot in general. And maybe some of that comes down to the fact of what you mentioned before, which is that, you know, they're very nose to the grindstone with their prime directive, for lack of a better term, which is the TMGL maps.
What are they, the Zerg?
I don't know. I just wanted to sound fancy, okay? they're more goal-oriented.
The prime directive is to ace this team again, dude. Are they going to do it? Oh, no, Carl Jr. just slips behind Elcon. But they stay alive, though, and now an ace will win it for them. I wanted to interrupt you while you were saying all of that, because we saw them clutch the last map. Or, well, not the last map, but the map before. And it was a short track. It was 08. Now we're here on 09. Another ace wins it, but I think Carl Jr. clipped. And he is going to be a little bit slower. He needs a couple of mistakes ahead of him from Mime and Elcon. And, yeah, that's not a good line from Carl Jr. I think this one's done. Unless there's a couple of mistakes, which I very highly doubt. That would be the ace to finish it off for ITB. They go up 3-1.
Look at that. I mean, they're just so well practiced. That a thousandth of a second away from each other. ITB are looking very strong. And now that I have a little bit of time, I just think I think it's clear to me that that Solary, I think, are spending more of their time focusing on
not this map.
The coming season, on the actual TMGL maps. I don't think they necessarily will have put in quite as much time into the campaign maps. Yes, they're definitely the maps that most people play, but when you're at the level of someone like Carl Jr. and Solary, I feel like the approach that they're probably taking is that they want to focus on the goal that is going to be the most important for them, which is the coming season.
Yeah, Solary's not most people. let's
be
real. But we head over to 20 now, and this another map that young Pole sits on pole in the world right now. World record 45-3 flat for Mime. Very, very fast time, and you see why he's so good on this track. So quick out of that penalty sand. Carl Jr. is right there with him. He is going to need a mistake. Elcon also starting to close the gap on Carl just a little bit. I don't think he'll be able to catch him unless there's a mistake made, and there is. That's going to be a tire into the outside barrier, and that'll be Mime and Elcon 1-2. Another ace for ITB.
We need an ace counter, I think.
If
we had some, if we had some stat counters to see at the end of this little 2-day weekend event, how many aces all of these teams managed to pull off, because that would be I don't know, interesting stat if nothing else. Carl Jr. risking a little bit too much in clipping that outside wall, so he is going to be disadvantaged for the remainder of this run. Maybe a good Zoop will help him out. It's a decent amount of airtime, but not enough to make a dent in the lead of everybody else on this track right now.
Yeah, Pack struggling to keep up, and he actually clips that checkpoint as well, and that will be another 1-2 finish. I think they could even afford a mistake, both Mime and Elcon here. Oh, Mime makes one. We'll see. Yeah, he's got plenty of speed. Carl Jr. couldn't get there in time. And that is 6-0 into the breach as Solary struggle to find their footing. And we are just about 2 rounds away from ITB going 2-0 in their group. Again, they did take down K-Corp in the first round. Didn't get a chance to catch any of that as they made pretty quick work. It was a 4-2 game there. Who was that just
Elcon
was sent flying? Elcon couldn't make the jump. He will spin off into the distance as Pack and Carl Jr. I mean, this is the chance to make a move. I mean, Mime is a very fast player on this track, but if you can catch him, if you can overtake him, get an ace of your own, you're right back in it. But I don't think Mime's going to let that happen. He's going to turn this into a draw, and those points are going to be left on the table here for Solary.
Mime, no need to risk. And Carl Jr. and Pack, a relatively clean run through that end, but just unfortunately not having the pace necessary to make this map work for them. And yes, it is a draw, but it doesn't change the 6-point lead that ITB has. And I think this is pretty clear evidence of just one team that, you know, that put in preparation for this event and another team that was probably just focusing on other things. And I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, because at the end of the day, this is an awesome event, and we're very happy to be involved, but it doesn't affect anything in terms of like the actual standings of the World Tour. It's kind of like an introductory hype event. So I think maybe Carl Jr. and Pack are maybe, you know, leaning a little bit heavier on that school of thinking, where they just didn't decide to put in as much time as a team like Mime and Elcon. I enjoy the way that Mime and Elcon have approached this, because they're putting on a show here, and I think that, especially with an introduction of a brand new format, and you know, new everything basically surrounding TMGL, I think that's the right way to go about it.
And Mime and Elcon too are both campaign grinders, you know, at heart.
That's true.
So, you know, it makes sense for them to be succeeding here on tracks like this. And they have match point against Solary, looking to 4-1 the GOAT duo here. Just a player in the top 2 spots, and they will secure that victory for their squad and will certainly punch their ticket to the playoffs tomorrow. It looks like Pack will split the 2 ITB players in this final round. Mime to come first, as he has, I think, every round. Oh, Carl Jr. absolutely sniped Elcon right there at the end. Ultimately, it doesn't matter. It is a draw. That is the point that Into the Breach needed. And, yeah, well done.